Shelter our kids, when we hold them back, we're disabling them more. And we're disabling the community because we're not showing them a true picture of what someone with a disability can do. Some people assume that if someone is dependent on a wheelchair, that they're not intelligent. Why would we even think that? But we do,
Right.
you know, or we think, we see someone with a visible disability, like Down syndrome. People automatically assume they can't read, they can't talk intelligibly, they can't carry a conversation with you. But those are stigmas that have gone on for years, and until we break those stigmas, until we get out there and show the world what our kids can really do, we're the ones at fault for holding our kids back. But we protect them. You know, a parent's fear when you have a little one with Down syndrome, one of the biggest fears is them going to school and being made fun of, or being called dummy, or stupid, or retard. You know, I'm on a huge campaign also to get that word deleted from our vocabulary. But that's a big fear for parents, so we tend to shelter them. We tend to isolate them rather than getting them out in the community, getting them included. I was speaking with a parent about having my son included in general education. He's in a general education class where the majority of the kids in his class have no disabilities. And they said, "Isn't that scary?" And I'm like, "Isn't life scary?" You know? But she's like, "Well, the kids will make fun of him." I said, I have not to this point heard of any kid making fun of my son who is in his class, because they're getting to know him.
Right.
And that is one of the biggest barriers, is just letting people see people with disabilities and see what they can do, not what they can't do.
And especially at a young age, when kids are most, it's so easy to influence them. If we can educate kids at the elementary level,
Absolutely.
How to accept students with disabilities, then as a community, we wouldn't look at the disability as a disability anymore. We would accept these students and kind of grow a community that looks beyond
Right.
these disabilities.
We'd see it more as a diversity.
Exactly.
You know, we hear that language all the time, you know, we need to be diverse, we need to be accepting of people who are different than we are, but we limit it to race and nationality rather than everyone, including them how they are and seeing them for a real person and what they have to offer. So in my opinion, like I said, mine's only 10, so I'm not really out there looking for jobs, but I'm out there looking for jobs.
Right.
I constantly am going, oh, Keaton could do that. You know, he might not want to do it,
Right.
but Keaton could do that, so let's expose him to it a little bit and see if maybe he'd be interested. Trying to think of some of the other categories that I have in his portfolio for occupations. And one was firefighter. There's a young man in the Down Syndrome Association here in Flagler County who just loves the fire stations. And every fire station knows him well. He's, I believe he's 14. And that is his, every Saturday, his grandparents take him to visit one of the fire stations. It's just a passion for him. And in my mind, that's where he's going to work. Why would he work anywhere else? And when I spoke with the caregivers about that, their comment to me was, well, that or maybe at Publix. And I said, okay, well, because they said, well, he really likes Publix. And I said, well, but why couldn't he work at the fire station? But we don't think that big. We don't think that big. Now, granted, he's not going to be driving a fire truck, and he's this particular child. He's not going to be fighting fires, because I know this student right now and where he is at as far as his abilities. But he could be there helping them clean the trucks. He could be there helping them make dinner. He could be doing whatever else these guys need to be. He would not probably care what he was doing as long as he was there at the fire station. And I'm trying to little bit, plant those seeds in his mind about working there, because, I mean, if he's 14, he's going to be a freshman in high school next year. So if he goes along the way the high school works, he'll be done in 4 years. Now, a child in the ESE program can stay in the school system until they're 22. They don't have to, but they can legally. So, but this young man could get a job potentially within 5 years, 4 years at a fire station if we're giving him that opportunity and we're finding the station that's accepting and can see how much they'd love to have him there. Some of them might be, you know, not quite as accepting, so you don't go there. You go to the ones that are. And there are employers who are very open-minded about using people in their businesses with disabilities. And then there are those who are just going to be closed-minded. Well, we do what we can to help the closed ones open, but we focus on the ones who are open and see what opportunities we can make happen. And once it's happening in the community, business people talk to each other, even when it's not the same type of business, and they hear, oh my gosh, really, you have someone with such and such disability and they're working for you, and do you pay them? Yeah, yeah. And a lot of our young people probably will start out working voluntarily until they prove themselves. Some might go in making minimum wage, or maybe not even minimum wage, just proving themselves. But the goal would be eventually to have full-time employment.
Right.
They're taxpayers. You know, they're taxpayers. They're viable members of the community. That's the way it should be.
Is there any other message you'd like to leave, or additional information that you'd like to tell the folks at home about providing more opportunities, or any other message you'd like to leave with employers or parents?
Well, there's a gazillion messages. You know, I could talk about this for hours because it's my passion, and it's, you know, getting the word out into the community is so vital. The biggest thing is to set goals and set them high, to have big expectations. A child, I can't speak for every disability, but I'll speak for kids with Down syndrome. They're going to only reach as far as you put the bar. Because the temperament of most people with Down syndrome, especially the younger ones, is whatever you'll do for me, I will let you do for me. If you will tie my shoes for the rest of my life, I will let you tie my shoes. But if you will expect me to be able to tie my own shoes and you'll teach me how, I will. My son's proof. He ties his own shoes because Daddy taught him and won't take no for an answer. It's having high expectations, not such low expectations. Stop looking at our kids in a way of what they can't do, or just assuming they can't do something. They'll surprise you every time. Every time you set that bar high, they'll reach it and they'll surpass it because you expect them to and you want them to. And as long as they're around other people who are doing that, meaning inclusion again, they're around typical friends, not just at home, but in the community and in school, they're going to model after that behavior. They're going to want to do that same thing. And that's pretty much with any disability, unless it's someone with a temperament that they just really don't care. And you know, there's people like that in every walk of life. Able-bodied, able-minded, you know, highly intelligent, who would rather just sit back and let everybody do everything for them. That's just a given. But a person with disabilities is going to need that push and that pull to excel.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to let the community know all these things, and it's definitely going to help as we try to get the word out about increasing awareness, not just for students with autism, but for all disabilities,
right,
to educate themselves on the topic so that they understand the needs of these students, and then eventually provide opportunities to allow them to be empowered, ultimately, members of society.
Right.
So thank you so much for...
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you for having me.
Joining us.
Thank you so much.
What we're gonna do is first we're gonna